You are listening to Digging In Podcast, presented by Rooted Wealth Advisors.
Welcome back to another new episode here on the Digging In Podcast with Rooted Wealth Advisors. I'm your host, as always, John Savarino. As always, again, we have a very special guest, one of the most special guests, Jason Thiele.
All right, thanks for having me, John.
How excited are you?
Oh, man, I'm super pumped.
We need some energy here in the studio. We got a brand new studio, bit work in progress. But Jason, remind me how long you've been with Rooted.
So I've been here since July, the end of July of 2022.
Okay, so you're going on 3 years.
Yep, going on 3 years, and you know, it's been a great time all 3 years.
Great time, huh?
And I'm going to circle back to this brand new studio here. It's great. I like these chairs, these super comfortable chairs here. You know, it's just, this building is amazing. Like the glass everywhere. Can't wait for the grand opening to have a tour with everybody here.
Yeah.
So it'll be fun time.
Yeah, hopefully this episode airs before the grand opening. If not, we had an amazing time. One of the things that I learned since doing the podcast, actually, I'll give you a story. So first time I ever shot a television segment with Zach, Mr. Zach Gray, for those of you that don't know, the owner and founder of the firm. And so we're shooting television, and I'm typically not someone that gets super nervous about things. I'm nervous. You know, they got big lights on you. You're on the big screen. And we were talking about taxes, and I said, when you file your taxes, didn't think anything of it, but it was right before April 15th. And as soon as we get done, Zach's face just, shouldn't have said that. Shouldn't have said that. And I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, this ain't going to air for another month.
You know, and when I said that, I immediately thought that. I immediately went there and I was like, this is probably not going to air before. But, you know, I'm glad you rolled with it.
Yeah.
Glad you picked me up there. Yes, if this doesn't air before, we had an amazing time.
It was great. Hopefully everyone was there. It's going to be there. If you couldn't already figure out on this episode, you know, Jason and I, we don't have a set agenda. Ultimately, I just want to connect with you a little bit more. I want the viewers to connect a little bit more on with you and do just a little bit of a rundown, right? A lot's probably changed for you professionally and personally since you've been on an episode of Digging In. So I really just want to talk through some of those changes. Want to talk through, you know, hey, how has your role maybe changed or transitioned over that time? And man, just want to talk, right? Just want to connect a little bit without a set agenda. So maybe that's a good place to start. When the last time that you had sat down, you were still pretty new, if I'm not mistaken, when we got to know you on the podcast. So how do you feel in your role today? And is it true that you're potentially going to be taking on a little bit more responsibility over the next 6 to 12 months here with Rooted?
Oh, yeah. I mean, the next 6 to 12 months, I mean, kind of be looking to take on maybe more of the design and a little bit of the trading stuff. With,
wow. That's sexy.
Andrew.
That sounds sexy.
But currently, you know, like you mentioned the first time I was on the podcast, I was relatively new, and I've grown so much in the role now.
Yeah.
Get a little bit more responsibility within that role. You know, Zach will come in and fire some stuff off from the hip. You know how he is with that.
That doesn't sound like Zach.
I learn something new every day in it. I enjoy helping the clients out when they call in with anything that they need. And I mean, yeah, it's just no 2 days are alike. And you know, I mean, you've been everywhere in this company as well, so I mean, you kind of know what that's like.
Yeah. It's funny you say that. That's cool though. It's funny you say that because I remember when I was in kind of the servicing role, right? Doing a lot of paperwork, doing a ton of phone calls, and you're catching a lot, you know, at that point in time. There was never, as much as I thought this is how my day's going to go, it was never what I expected it to be. And sometimes it gets to a point where you're just like, I'm a little nervous to answer the phone because I got all these other things to do. And I'm like, okay, what's this going to be? What's this going to do? And then when I was trying to juggle that and planning, that was an interesting period in my life. But no, I mean, so this is a random question. How many phone calls do you think that you are total receiving, making in a day on the high side? Have you thought about that?
I haven't really thought about it. I know sometimes, like I'll come in, I'll try to set a schedule, an agenda, I guess, for my day. Usually within the first, we'll estimate an hour that agenda's done. Throw it out. All right. So I guess we could say on the high side, calls a day, we will go with
40. Okay. I was going to say 40 to 50 would be my assumption there. And then in the midst of, I'm sure, many emails back and forth, communicate with your team. There's a lot of responsibility in what you do. So let's start to go down how did you describe the trading, the design, and you said it in just it was a good way, design and something of trading, but that's going to be one of the responsibilities that you're taking on. What prompted your interest in that? And then tell me about what you're doing study-wise to get into that role.
So, what kind of prompted that is, we can go all the way back.
Oh, yeah.
It's been many, many years now. High school.
I think of that meme where it's like it's been 80-something
Oh,
years.
yeah. It's been, Titanic. It's been 84 long years since high school.
Okay.
Economics class, really enjoyed it. We did a kind of a thing on the side with tracking the markets. We were given an X amount of money throughout the year. You do your research, you buy, sell, see if you can make some money.
Okay.
So, that's kind of what kind of prompted my interest in the markets. And then obviously, continuing to grow up, following it, I watched the TV shows and everything. And it's just been an interest. So now, study-wise, I'm looking at, I'm actually doing the CIMA, which is the Certified Investment Management Analyst.
Whew.
It's a lot of...
Say that 5 times fast.
It's a lot of, just the fundamental part of it. First 4 weeks is a lot of math, a lot of equations. And then it's kind of weeks 5 through 12, getting in more of the advanced curriculum, portfolio theory, some alternative investments in there as well. So, I'm excited for it. Got to pass not 1, but 2 exams just to get to the final exam to do a certification.
Holy cow.
So it's a lot of hours.
Yeah, I bet.
I'm excited.
With the family at home too? How do you get time to study?
Well, that's a great question, man. So I have the program that I'm in has a little bit of a uniqueness to it. Every Wednesday for 12 weeks, I get an online Zoom meeting.
Okay.
Where they go over everything. So I'll get that hour and a half, 2 hours right there. And then on top of that, you got practice equations and problems, readings to do. I'll put some headphones on. My daughter will sit there and watch something on the TV or whatever. My boys, they'll go off and they'll play video games, whatever they can do.
Yeah, that works
so,
out.
It's not as hectic as one would think.
Yeah.
But, I will say sometimes, hey, Dad's got to study here a little bit, but I'll take a break, and play around with the kids. And, they understand that it's something that I want to do with my career. So,
yeah.
That time.
Man, once you have the CIMA designation, all I can say to our viewers is you are in good hands. Especially we got Mr. Lee, Andrew Lee, our lead trading advisor, studying for a CFA. You got them two guys at the helm. Buckle up. Ruth's taking off. So that's cool, though. That's exciting for you. Sounds fun, actually, in terms of the formulas and a lot of the math. That's kind of what interests me. So cool, man. I'm excited to see where that progresses. So one thing, we got our offsite coming up. Here I am saying that. Hopefully this airs before the offsite. So I've mentioned this a couple times on the podcast, and I'm willing to bet some of our viewers are thinking, what is an offsite? So I'm going to let you tell our viewers what our offsite is, because you've done 2 of them now, right?
Yeah, been to 2, going on 3 now here.
Whoa.
So, this is just a time for us to get together as a whole for what this one is going to be. what, 2.5 days this time.
Maybe
We're
three.
gonna go, yeah,
Wow.
maybe 3. We're gonna go over everything. They're gonna lay out the agenda for the entire year, both marketing wise, operations wise. I mean, it's just kind of a time to come together and say, like, you want to do an analysis of yourself. Like,
Yeah.
here's my strengths, weaknesses, where I can improve, not only individually but as a department. And to kind of combine everybody's analysis together. Just a time to ask questions, go over, get the vision for the year.
Yeah.
It's always an exciting time, I guess you could say.
Yeah, just to come together, bond a little bit.
Yeah, that's always a fun time. Get everybody together. But no, I look forward to the end of the year to kind of see where their head's at for the next year.
Yeah.
So you might get little bits and pieces here and there in other meetings, but when you look at, like, we get that one time a year to where they lay out the entire year.
Mm-hmm.
So they, and then you set your goal. You set your individual goals, and then you set your key for the company. So I'm looking forward.
Yeah, you think you're going to get your own bed this year? Well, your own room? Jason and I I probably told this before, but Jason and I slept on bunk beds. I don't think Jason was too impressed with my snore.
I didn't mind it. I probably didn't hear it. But no, hopefully, like the place where we're going this year, like I go every year with my family. So
okay.
I know what the layout
You got a
is.
plan.
Yeah, I know what the layout is. Okay. There's a high likelihood that we would be bunkmates again, and we will share with 2 other bunkmates on the other side of the room. There was a very high likelihood of that.
Okay.
But no, like the place where we're going has some amenities that are
Where
awesome.
are we going?
So we're going to the Grand Bear Lodge of Starved Rock. We go like I said, I go every year with my family. They have an indoor water park with a lazy river. I will not do the slide ever again.
Why?
Oh man. So if you can look here, I'm not a small guy, right? I had to go to the top of this thing. I went with my kids up there, right? And they're like, Dad, you got to try this. So I asked the attendant up there, do I have to use this tube, this inner tube? He's like, yeah, safety-wise. I'm like, okay. So I get in the tube, and the water's going, and like I'm like weighing it down a little bit. I'm like, hey, guy, give me a nudge, right? So he gives me a nudge, and then I start going, and my weight just, science, gravity, pulling me down. So I almost do a backflip on the tube, off the inner tube, in this slide. It's pitch black. Thankfully, I have abs of steel. I was able to pull myself up, and I was just cruising down at a very fast pace. I saw the light at the end of the tunnel. There's my kids, like, looking. And then I hit the water so hard that I backflipped and my inner tube just flew out. And I got up and I looked at the lifeguard. He was there and he goes, don't ever go down again. And I was like, you don't have to worry about that. So
we know who's not going down.
Yep.
Oh, what a story, man. I thought your kids thought it was awesome. Or were they worried about you?
No, they laughed. And they were like, do it again. And I was like, no, never doing it again.
Oh, that's
I'm going to
too
heed
funny.
the advice of the certified lifeguard. And I'm not doing it.
Don't ever do it again, he said. Oh, that's funny, man. No, that's funny. No, I think the offsite's a good chance, like you had said, just kind of lay out the following year, get a good vision for the team, celebrate, some of the wins from the year and just come together. So always a good time, something to look forward to towards the end of the year. Anything else that you want to tell our viewers on this episode of Digging In?
I think like you set me up for the big finish here.
A big finish.
I got nothing.
Actually, just kidding. Pause. On the spot. Blue chip stocks. Hey, full disclosure, let me preface this. Not financial advice. Do not, make sure you evaluate your own risks with your own portfolio and your own risk tolerance. Realize that investing comes with risk and potential for loss. All the disclosures, putting them out there. Blue chip stocks, no speculative stuff. Top 5 right now in no particular order.
Ooh, okay. Obviously with everything going on, right? In the Middle East, you got your defense stocks, obviously Lockheed Martin.
Okay.
LMT is a good one. Honeywell's also another good one.
Whoa, okay. Big
Another
defense guy.
Yep. Raytheon, if you want
Whoa,
to continue
big
to go down.
defense guy.
But also you got your, with the way that cryptos are going right now, you got your MSTR, which is the largest Bitcoin holder.
Wow.
So that's following that. You can't go really wrong with Meta, I guess you could
Whoa.
say.
Meta's been crushing it.
It has
Not
been.
financial advice.
Yep, it has been. And then obviously,
That's fine.
we keep going. You got Tesla.
Big defense guy. Anyway, I just put you on the spot a little bit there for fun. Not financial advice, but Jason, thought that was a really good time. Loved chatting with you there. So I appreciate you being here and joining the podcast. Can't wait to do another one. Can't wait to share a bunk at the offsite coming up. If you want to learn more about what we do at Rooted Wealth Advisors besides just chit-chatting like we did here on the podcast, give our office a call. Number's 866-766-8332. I will actually send you, it's a free copy of our 5 Worlds in Retirement. So once again, just gives you an idea of what we do here as a firm. Call that number, 866-766-8332. A lot of good information, especially if you are nearing or already in retirement. Last time, 866-766-8332. We will dig in soon.
This was Digging In Podcast, presented by Rooted Wealth Advisors.